The slap echoed through the showroom like a gunshot. For a split second, time froze. The old man staggered back, his thin frame barely steadying itself against a row of gleaming cars under harsh white lights. His glasses slipped down his nose. A red mark bloomed on his wrinkled cheek as stunned customers gasped, hands flying to mouths. "I told you to leave," the salesman snapped, his voice sharp, impatient. "You're scaring away real buyers." The old man didn't shout. He didn't raise his hands. He simply stood there, breathing slowly, his fingers trembling as they tightened around a worn canvas bag hanging from his shoulder. His eyes, cloudy but alert, moved across the room, taking in the polished floors, the luxury logos, the security cameras blinking quietly in the corners. Inside his chest, something cracked open. Not from the slap. From the memory it stirred. 40 years ago, this same building had been nothing but steel beams and dust. He remembered standing right here in muddy boots, a younger man with grease-stained hands and hope burning brighter than the welding torch he held. He'd helped build this place from the ground up, late nights, missed birthdays, hands blistered raw, so his family could have a better life. The salesman scoffed. "Hey, I'm talking to you, old man." The old man finally lifted his head. His voice came out soft, almost gentle. "I was just looking." "Looking at what?" The salesman laughed. "You can't afford to even touch these cars." A murmur rippled through the room. A young woman near the glass wall clenched her jaw. A father pulled his child closer. Everyone felt it, that quiet discomfort when cruelty walks freely in public. The old man swallowed. He felt small. Invisible. Just like the last day at the factory, when they told him his services were no longer needed. Just like the hospital room where his wife took her final breath, squeezing his hand and whispering, "Don't let the world harden you." He had promised her. The salesman leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Get out before I make you." The old man's heart thudded painfully. He thought about turning away. About disappearing quietly, the way he always did. But then he noticed the security guard by the door, pretending not to see. He noticed the manager's office upstairs, lights on, blinds open. He noticed the young intern behind the counter, eyes wide, silently begging someone, anyone, to stop this. And something inside him shifted. If you believe moments like this reveal who we truly are, take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. Because stories like this remind us that dignity doesn't age, and courage doesn't retire. The old man reached into his canvas bag. The salesman smirked. "What, you got a weapon in there now?" Slowly, deliberately, the old man pulled out a thick folder, creased, yellowed with time. He placed it on the glossy hood of the nearest car, his hand steady now. "These are the original blueprints," he said quietly. The salesman blinked. "What?" The old man opened the folder. Inside were architectural drawings, signatures faded but legible, stamped with dates from decades ago. He flipped to the last page and pointed to a name. His name. "I was the site foreman," he continued. "This showroom, the service bay, the foundation beneath your feet, I supervised it all." The room went silent. "That's impossible," the salesman scoffed, though his voice wavered. The old man met his eyes. "Is it?" Just then, footsteps hurried down the staircase. The manager, a silver-haired woman in a tailored suit, stopped mid-step when she saw the folder. Her eyes widened. She rushed forward, hands trembling as she turned the pages. "Oh my God," she whispered. "It's really you." The salesman's face drained of color. She didn't look at him. Her gaze stayed locked on the old man, now standing straighter than before. "My father talked about you. Said this place wouldn't exist without your leadership." The old man nodded, emotion tightening his throat. "He was a good man." The manager swallowed hard. Then she turned, slowly, to the salesman. "Did you just strike him?" I didn't mean," the salesman stammered. She raised her hand. "Stop." The room held its breath. "You humiliated a man who helped build this company," she said, voice steady but cold. "A man who deserves respect." The salesman opened his mouth again, but no sound came out. The manager faced the old man. "Sir, I'm so sorry. Please, come with me." As they walked toward the office, the old man felt eyes on him, not with pity now, but with awe. The young intern wiped away tears. The father nodded in quiet respect. Inside the office, warm light replaced the showroom glare. The manager offered him a seat and a glass of water. "You should never have been treated like that," she said softly. The old man looked at his hands, hands that had built, fixed, and provided. "I didn't come for recognition," he replied. "I just wanted to see what became of it." She smiled sadly. "Then let me show you." Moments later, they returned to the showroom. The manager's voice carried. "Everyone, I'd like you to meet one of the men responsible for this place." Applause rose, hesitant at first, then strong. The old man's eyes glistened. The salesman stood frozen, shame etched into his posture. The old man walked over to him. Everyone expected anger. A lecture. Revenge. Instead, the old man placed the folder gently on the counter. "Son," he said quietly, "life will humble you one day too. When it does, I hope someone shows you kindness." The salesman's eyes filled with tears. He nodded, unable to speak. As the old man left the building, sunlight spilling across the steps, he felt lighter than he had in years. Not because he'd been vindicated, but because he'd chosen compassion over bitterness. How often do we judge someone by how they look, forgetting the stories they carry? How many builders of our world walk among us unnoticed? If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that respect costs nothing, and kindness changes everything. Subscribe to Kindness Valley for more stories that restore faith in humanity. The old man adjusted his canvas bag and walked on, dignity intact, leaving behind a room that would never forget the lesson he taught without raising his hand.